A new TYT Investigates report by our reporter Ken Klippenstein indicates that the Trump administration has actually greenlit the notion of the military, which is deployed at our southern border, to use lethal force against migrants who are accused of civil disturbances at ports of entry. So TYT actually learned of this policy through military documents that Ken Klippenstein obtained through an anonymous Pentagon source. So this individual, of course, wanted to remain anonymous so there wouldn't be retaliation against him or her. However, this document was dated in February of 2019, and here's what it said. The documents marked for official use only reveal that during civil disturbance operations, certain military personnel have been granted lethal capability to protect soldiers in riot control formation at ports of entry. Military personnel are also permitted, the documents show, to use deadly force to protect other personnel engaged in border security operations and even to protect property. Now I think this is already an issue, but what makes it even more of an issue is that the documents do not, under any circumstance, define what constitutes a civil disturbance. Right, so this is open for interpretation. It gives members of the military a lot more power to arbitrarily carry out lethal force. And when you consider some of the rhetoric used by Donald Trump, this is incredibly problematic. In fact, why don't we go to a video from November of 2018? This is the kind of mindset that Donald Trump has when it comes to asylum seekers seeking asylum at the ports of entry.
Nothing political about a caravan of thousands of people and now others forming, pouring up into our country. We have no idea who they are. All we know is they're pretty tough people when they can blast through the Mexican military and Mexican police. They're pretty tough people. Even Mexico said, wow, these are tough people. Anybody throwing stones, rocks, like they did to Mexico and the Mexican military and Mexican police, where they badly hurt police and soldiers of Mexico, we will consider that a firearm, because there's not much difference when you get hit in the face with a rock, which, as you know, it was very violent a few days ago, very, very violent.
So, first of all, it's really important to note that this order is illegal. The Posse Comitatus Act limits the military from enforcing domestic policies on US soil. So they're not even supposed to act within the country. The military is for defense outside the country. Now, Donald Trump is ignoring that completely. And then now this Department of Defense order says it was ordered by Donald Trump, saying not only can they act inside the country, they could use lethal force inside the country. For what? A civil disturbance. No one knows what that means. By the way, sometimes if your party is too loud, they call that a civil disturbance. So, and now important context to this, if you're thinking, well, that sounds like an exaggeration. No, remember, a recent report came out saying that Donald Trump wanted to shoot migrants at the border. His staff told him that would be deeply illegal and that they would not be allowed to do that. He said, well, then can we shoot them in the leg? And then he puts out this illegal order saying, yeah, the army can act within the United States and he can even kill people inside the United States. Look, I don't know what to do with this. We have complete lawlessness. It's not just about a call with Ukraine. It's not just about his Russian ties and all the other things that the laws he's personally violated. He keeps giving illegal orders, and a lot of times he will say, and this was another story where he again related to the border, where he said, just do the things that I want and don't worry about it whether it's illegal. In one particular case, it was about taking people's private property without their permission.
At the border to build the wall.
Yeah, and by the way, a lot of those folks are Republicans that voted for Donald Trump, and we showed you interviews with them in the past. And he said, I don't care if it's illegal, do it, I'll pardon you later. He left the room and other high-ranking officials said, don't do that. Don't break the law, even if the president tells you to. But here's an order that he gives to the Department of Defense that they then tell our soldiers. Yeah, you're allowed to act inside the United States and you're allowed to shoot and kill people inside the United States. Absolutely outrageous. Nothing being done about it. Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.